Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 12th of November 2019. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course, our JFD Bank website here, and specifically our JFD Research tab, which you can also check out on a daily basis. You can update that. We update that. We update that on every day. So yep. You can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So feel free to visit us here on jdbank.com and yep, click on the research tab right here. But right now, let's jump into the charts because I do have a few instruments that I really wanted to quickly go through. Now, the FTSE 100, I talked about this one yesterday, and basically what I was saying that if, as long as it stays above this upside line, there is still a possibility for this one to drift back to the upside. So now we did get our break, but we never got the close. So a daily candle closed still above this upside line taken from the low of the 3rd of October. And looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is moving back above the 7,351 zone. Let's see if the bulls have enough steam to push this one further north. If they do, then well, we'll aim for the 7,440 zone, 40, 41, roughly around there, basically not far from the highest point of September. And then yep, we'll take it from there. So for now, we're just going to target this area, especially if it continues to trade above the 7,351 zone. If it suddenly, let's say, drops back below this upside line here, well, I mean, this is where probably you should be a little bit cautious, and this is where probably we will get rid of this upside line, and we're no longer going to look at it because we could be getting ourselves somewhat of a range here. But again, for now, it's a bit of a too early to make this call. The only thing is that in order to, let's say, consider the downside here, ideally we would like to see a drop below the 7,251.50 area, roughly around there, and then we will consider the downside. Then we will get a little bit more comfortable with lower areas. For now, everything's kind of looking a little bit more positive here for the FTSE and the indices in general. But yep, still kind of keep an eye on this one. Again, we would need to see a nice stronger push above the 7,351. For now, we are getting somewhat of a climb above it, but the cash index is currently balancing just around this level here. So let's keep an eye on it. Of course, this is a somewhat of a positive sign, but just to be on the safe side, have a little bit of skepticism still in there. Gold. Gold sold off, so of course the rise in the equity markets yesterday helped gold to move down, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. Basically, if we see a drop below the 1459, then yep, we will consider further move lower. We will target the 1453. We did overshoot that, and let me now just adjust a few levels here, guys, because in a way, for now, probably this level here is going to be no longer valid, the 1453. Now, we did reach our target in a way. We overshot it, but still the commodity kind of found some support. Let me just quickly put this one right here. It found some support near the 1449 zone. So this basically also is near the high of the 1st of August. Now again, this level here, we're going to keep an eye on it. You can see that we did have an overshoot here a little bit, but we'll probably keep an eye on this area, roughly like plus minus 2 points or something like that. So but this 1449 kind of zone is acting as a strong area of support for now. We are seeing a bit of a correction here to the upside. Still, we remain below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 4th of November. In a way, if this decides to correct back up here a little bit, as long as it remains below this downside line, we will continue targeting the downside. So, and in a way, the next target for us could be around the 1433 zone, which you can see previously acted as both a good area of resistance and support. So this area roughly around here, 1433, maybe 1430, depends, maybe even 1435. So roughly around here, guys, around this area, this is what we're going to be targeting, because with gold, as you can see, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to capture well, at least try to capture exactly a precise level here. So that's why it's probably more convenient for everyone to target an area. Now, that is all, of course, if we continue to see the price trading below this downside line, and of course if we see a drop below the 1449 zone, and then yep, all this kind of could add up into another possible slide. Now in terms of the upside here, now with gold, of course this level here for us remains still an important one, but the further we move down, the more we lower our potential breakout point to the upside. So in a way, for now, of course, we're still going to stick to this 1475. If this downside line breaks and the price starts climbing above this little level right here, this high, basically the yesterday's high near the 1466 zone, roughly around there, then there is a good chance to consider, or should I say, just in general, to consider a possible move higher here. But as I said, still for us for now to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, a push above the 1474, 75 zone here. This is what we would need to see in order to get excited about the, or at least to get excited about some upside. Jumping into another interesting instrument, and that's Bitcoin, and I'm looking at the Bitfinex exchange here. Of course, since we had this nice spike here to the upside in the end of October, the crypto started drifting lower, but it's basically forming one of my favorite patterns, a falling veg formation, which of course, as I've mentioned several times already in my videos, that these patterns tend to break to the upside in according to the technical analysis rules. And to be honest, as we've seen with the GBP Aussie pair, we did have exactly that. So in a way, for now, I would say stay put, because on one hand, yes, we are in this falling veg, which could lead to a break to the upside later on at some point, maybe. But for now, you can see that it is currently below all of its EMAs. So in a way, this kind of still it kind of still is worrying us, because in a way, if it decides to, let's say, drop lower and breaks below the lower side of this veg, then in a way there is no longer a falling veg. So now we will have to look for something else. Maybe it will be a channel, who knows. But again, for now, it's a little bit tricky to talk about any positivity here. For now, it's kind of drifting still lower. It's getting into a slight squeeze. So in a way, a move should happen soon, in a way. But how we could play this one out is, of course, we'll keep an eye on this upper side of the falling veg, but also we'll keep an eye on the high of the 10th of November, which is roughly around the 9,250 zone. So if we get a push above this, then we will start targeting these previous highs. So we'll aim for the high of the 4th of November near the 9,645. But even better, ideally, we would like to see a test of the high highest point of October, and that's roughly around the 10,480 zone. So in a way, if long story short, basically, guys, we need to see a push above the 9,250 level first before kind of getting comfortable with higher levels. So that's why, for now, just keep an eye on this one. And in terms of the downside, if this suddenly starts dropping below this little territory right here, now I'm still allowing a bit of room in case we do see a drop below the lower side of the falling wedge. So that's why I'm going to consider a possible move lower, a deeper move lower, if we see a drop below the 8,370 zone right here, so which marks the high of the 21st of October. So keep your eyes on this one. Then of course we could aim for the lows here, the low of the 23rd of October near the 7,333 zone. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, basically, let's wait and see. Let's not rush into this one, and just wait for a breakthrough one of these levels. AUDNZD. Now jumping into a few pairs very quickly. I will try to go through some of these quicker. Now, AUDNZD, so yesterday it took a strong hit, it sold off, but kind of remained trading above this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of October, and today it seems that it's the turn of the New Zealand dollar to kind of start sliding. So if yesterday it was Australian dollar, today it probably most likely will be the New Zealand dollar, so on the weaker side. So as you can see, this morning we are seeing a nice strong push here higher. We had good data coming out from Australia. Let me just quickly double check that. So yes, we did get a bit of improved NAB business survey figures and the business confidence figures. So that's what's kind of helping to drive Australian dollar to the upside. Keep your eyes, of course, on this one. It's quite an interesting pair. In a way, it's already kind of pushing higher here, but the big question will be, can it reach these recent highs? And let me just put that on the chart. So the first, of course, we will target this little area somewhere around here near the 1.0850 zone, and of course the next target for us could be around the high of November, or should I say the current highest point of November, near the 1.0865. So again, don't get me wrong, because we're seeing some upside here in a very short period of time, there is a possibility to see maybe a small correction first before another leg of buying. So keep your eyes on this one. NZDCHF. This leads us into NZDCHF. So it's still on a bit of a decline, and we can see that for now it may continue declining. It's currently stuck here at a very interesting spot. So on one hand, it is trading below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 5th of November. Very short term, very I wouldn't even actually say a tentative, no more. It has 3 touches, so that's why we're going to keep an eye on that line. But also you can see that the pair is struggling to overcome let me just quickly put this one. It's struggling to overcome this 0.6285 zone. So this is going to be a very important area of support. So in a way, you could wait this one out and just wait for a drop below this level first before kind of examining lower areas. Now, that said, of course, if we get that drop here, if we do, then yes, it could open the path towards lower levels, and we could start aiming for these areas that we saw around mid-October. Maybe initially we'll target this little level near the 0.6270 zone, roughly around there. The next target for us could be around this little low of near the 0.6238. So basically, there are a bunch of good support levels to keep an eye on here on the downside, but first we need to see that drop below the 0.6285. And to be honest, looking at this current price activity, ideally a close at least of a 4-hour candle, to be honest. I mean, this could in a way help more bears to join in here. Of course, don't get me wrong, a daily close would be even better, but we will start considering lower areas if we get a close at least of a 4-hour candle below this area. In terms of the upside, well, it's pretty straightforward. We need to see a push above this downside line and a push above the yesterday's highs near the 0.6340 before we could examine the upside again. So yep, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on some of these potential breakout points, and let me just put an arrow here for our future reference for the upside. So this is what we're going to be looking at for now for the upside. GBPCAD now. So this was quite interesting, and yesterday GBP got a nice boost here. So of course we did get some improved economic growth figures. So the GDP, preliminary GDP figures rose. So that kind of helped boost the British pound. Of course, then there's the political things surrounding the Brexit thing, the Brexit issue, and we got news that Nigel Farage is not going to go after the Conservative seats during this upcoming elections. Of course, it will be quite interesting to see. This is a bit of a strategic move by Nigel Farage here, although everybody's saying that he is kind of looking, well, he doesn't want to have a hung parliament, but to be honest, we know that his political views are closer to the Tories, and he knows that his party is not going to win. So in a way, there is a possibility for maybe creating a coalition in the end, maybe. And that's the it's better to have a coalition with the Conservatives at least rather than with the Labour. So, and that's in his from his perspective, of course. So in a way, the market saw this as a positive. We saw a nice push to the upside. The only thing is that here, still with the upside here, and looking at this GBP CAD pair, still ideally it needs to push through some of the key areas of resistance. So for now, you can see that we're having ourselves a nice kind of ascending triangle here. So in a way, a push above this barrier right here at 1.708182 zone could in a way open the path towards higher levels, and this is where more buyers could start joining in. So for now, of course, we're going to keep an eye on this one. We are, like I said, we are still trading inside this ascending triangle, or in other words, we're trading above this little short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of October, and we're going to keep an eye on this one. So basically, we need to see a break either through the 1.7081 or a drop below somewhere around here. Probably this is where we'll start considering the downside. So if we see a drop below the 1.69 14-15 zone, roughly around there, this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the sellers. Of course, some obstacles would need to be cleared first, like the 1.6844, or even the this little area right here at 1.6724 zone. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. For now, it's at a very interesting spot. So these two levels that we need to be broken in order to kind of, let's say, consider a further short-term directional move. Quick mentioning of USDCHF. Now, I talked about this one yesterday, and basically I was telling you guys to keep an eye on the this downside line. So I've talked about this one in my Espresso and my Trader's Tea Time. This downside line continues to act as a fantastic trampoline here for the for USDCHF. The only thing is that we cannot really talk about the upside because, as you can see, the pair is struggling to overcome the 0.9975 level. So this is the level that we need to be broken first before kind of examining higher areas. For now here, all this territory for us is going to be somewhat of a neutral one. We'll just stay put. And even with the downside, it's also tricky because we need to see a drop below the 0.9909 zone first, because this way the pair would be placed back below this downside line and below the 0.9909 zone. So this key area of support. The other way around, sorry. It will be placed below this downside line, but we need to see a drop below the 0.9909. So, yep, guys, for now, in terms of the downside, keep your eyes on these two, on this level, and for the upside, this is the barrier that we need to be broken in order to consider a higher move here. And in terms of actually coming back to the downside here, even if we see a drop below this 0.9909, we'll still be very careful because we do have this little short-term tentative upside line here taken from the low of the 18th of October, which in a way could kind of hold the rate from moving lower. But again, we'll get to that if we see that drop below the 0.9909. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's euro dollar as always. So it broke this little downside resistance line I talked about yesterday. It was a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless, we kept it here. We saw the rate stalling around this line, and you can see that now it's kind of breaking it. So in a way, we can get rid of it. It's no longer valid because it got violated. So what you could do here is mainly focus on some of these key potential breakout points. So in terms of the downside, we're still keeping an eye on the 1.1016. A nice good drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could aim for the 1.10 zone or the 1.0989. I do understand it's not far from this breakout point, but we'll keep it short and simple. That's what we're going to be targeting initially, and then we'll take it from there. In terms of the upside, we need to see a push above the 1.1063 before kind of, let's say, considering higher levels again. This level might be changed soon, depending on the price action here. But again, for now, I'm keeping it on the chart. Depending on how this pair will start moving and start behaving, it might be that we'll have to change this level. But for now, as we can see, as we know, previously it acted as a very good area of resistance and support. So let's see if the pair actually respects this level again if it travels to the upside. So for now, keep your eyes on this one, guys, and let's be very careful here on this one. It's very tricky with the euro dollar lately, so that's why, guys, have your stop loss in place, and yep, stay safe. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end, guys. Thank you for joining me, and basically, if you want to join me later on at my traders tea time, as always, that's 14:15 GMT. If you do have any specific instruments that you would like me to cover, maybe please leave a comment after the video gets uploaded, and I'll pick that one up on my next video, and yep, we'll have a look at it together and see what's happening there. So, but for now, guys, thank you very much for joining in. Stay safe today. Be very careful. We do have the UK data coming out here, employment data coming out soon, so keep your eyes on that one. And yep, thank you very much for joining in. I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.